Okay, we are live. Let me just make sure this is all ready to go before we get started here. Okay, welcome to our In the Blue live Facebook. We're so grateful for those of you joining us today. And I want to give a big shout out to last week's broadcast because it was on mastering your accounts receivable, and we've had over 800 views on that, which I can't thank you enough for participating in that, and especially sharing that on your own individual feeds and sharing that with other people. So today is one of my favorite topics. It's 10 steps in materializing your business vision. And this is one of my favorites because just the other day we had a doctor, a chiropractor back east who started some of our products. And after kind of going through this process and just developing their business and implementing BlueIQ, I just got a testimonial from him the other day that said, Doc, thank you, thank you. In 4 months, we have doubled our income. Now, let me repeat that. Doubled our income, and that's after almost 20 years in business. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in business, and that is going to be step one today as we go through this, is evaluating where you're at today. It doesn't matter if you're in the startup phase of just writing your business plan, if you're in the early phases of trying to get traction and get patients into your clinic or customers buying your products. This is, even if been in business for 50 years, this vision statement is so powerful in making sure that you're getting somewhere, that you're creating what you've always desired to create. And a mission statement is not the same as a business statement. Remember that a mission statement is something that you're putting out for your patients or your customers to see who your business is and what you do or why you do it. A vision statement is very different from that. It's an internal document that is ever changing because as you approach your vision, it's going to grow. And so a vision is something that you are writing in detail because remember that everything has to be created mentally before it can be created physically. And that is what are going to be assigned to do, is to create your vision on paper. And so whether you're just beginning this process or whether you're a seasoned vet at running a business, this process is powerful. And so I invite you to truly engage in this and go through this process, because being an entrepreneurial is not easy. It's a grind, and sometimes it's a very lonely road. And writing out your vision statement is scary because you have to be authentic. You're not trying to duplicate somebody else's business. This is your unique vision. No different than you are a unique person and all the billions and billions of people that have been on this planet. So be authentic. Write this in your voice. You're not trying to appease somebody else. And this is something you're going to share with your closest friends, maybe some family members. This is what you're going to share with, team members that you're trying to attract. And that's scary because once you start verbalizing a vision, there's going to be doubters, there's going to be naysayers, there's going to be people saying you can't do that, or the skeptics that after maybe a year or two or five are going to look at you like, where are you on that thing that you're creating? Because things take time. Sometimes you just can't rush that time. So it's very powerful for you to do it, but it's also vulnerable. So bear with me in this process, because if you'll go through it, it will change your life and change your business. Step two, you're going to clearly craft the details of your vision. Now, again, a mission statement has to pass the t-shirt test. It's something that you are writing very concisely. But this is different because you are actually going to write a vision that is something that we're going to break down into pieces. And I want you to be as detailed as specific. It may mean that you need to start journaling if you don't. And I'm a big believer in journaling. In fact, a big shout out to Day One and Adam for helping me get my Mac connected to my iPhone. So they're actually syncing back and forth. And I'm actually an avid writing my thoughts down and my intentions, because that's the beginning of the materialization process, is getting out of the head and out onto paper or into the digital world as detailed as you can. And so that's step 2, is being detailed as you're crafting this vision. Step 3 now is we're going to break up your vision into multiple pieces. I don't care how small or big your business is, you're going to have these pieces of your business. And these components, I'm actually going to replace with the name team. You may be the only person on the team right now, but eventually you're going to have employees or team members. And these team members you're going to appoint to be on each one of these teams. And for a while, you may have a team member that's on all of the teams, or you may grow to the point where you have one person on each team, and then you may grow to the point where you literally have a team leader with several team members, and again, grows from there depending on the size of your organization. So marketing starts with the process of getting your voice out into the universe. So as you're writing the vision, and I'm not going to go through each one of these, in this much detail. I'm going to do it with this one, and then you get the point because you're going to do it with all of them. But I want you to put yourself in your patient or your client or your customer's shoes. And what experience are they going to have with your marketing material? So imagine sitting at the computer or going through your Facebook feed and up pops an ad. I'm sure you've never had that done before, as we see more and more of that happening. But what does the ad look like? What's the font? What's the colors? What's the imagery? And then most important, what experience or what feeling does that marketing cause you to have? That's what I want you to harness, is the feeling. And then I want you to take that a step further. And when they click on that ad and they go to a landing page or your website or wherever you're taking them through your advertising, what is the next feeling that they have? Is there suspense? Is there growth? Is there education? Is there engagement? Again, what are the feelings that you're initiating with this process? Now, same concept in sales. When you're writing this vision of sales, what is the experience that the customer, client, or patient is having as they're being sold to? Now, nobody likes to be sold to, so it's really assisting them in the buyer's journey. And those are life events all on their own, but you get my point. As you're writing this down, each one of these, you're going to craft the vision of what you want the experience to be. Now, this is going to be a lot of documents. This is going to take some time. This is not done in 30 minutes. You're going to go through the process of describing in your billing, how is that handled? What is the experience both for the team member and the customer or client or patient? What experience do they have in the exchange of money process? So that's your assignment, is to break it up into these different pieces and then clearly craft the experience that is being created by each one of those. Now, the reason why that's important, because in order for you to know if you're successful in creating this vision, is we got to have some way to measure the progress of your vision. And there's a big difference between business analytics and business data visualization. BlueIQ is both. We're able to analyze data, but we're also able to visualize data. And we can do that by benchmarks and watching trends and watching triggers that have cause and effect on the data. And as you know, your business creates a lot of data. Data is the language of business. And so we're going to take each one of those components or teams of your business, and we're going to give it a KPI. A KPI is a key performance indicator. It's like the vitals of the human body. We measure heart rate and blood pressure and body temperature. because it gives us a quick assessment of how healthy or stable the body is at that given moment in time, or if there's a huge red flag that needs attention. The same concept for the KPIs of your business. This is the opportunity for you to really see at a glance how stable the business is, but then growth. We look at how well is our marketing producing its most important product. So marketing, scheduled new patients, or leads for any other business, engagements. You can break that down into cold and hot leads, but it's an engaged customer. This is somebody who wants to interact with your business. The next one in sales is now actually a purchase if this is a product-based company, but in dentistry or chiropractic, it's a scheduled new patient that started their presented care plan. So that's a case start. Scheduling now, and again, depending on the size of your clinic or the size of your company, this is important because there's potentially, depending on the size, you may be a single provider or single point of sale company, or you may have multiple providers or multiple products. The goal for any great business is to grow to the point where your providers' schedules are full. And I had a great business coach at one time tell me, the great David Singer, tell me that, that doctor plus patient equals income, not doctor plus cleaning, not doctor plus doing notes, not doctor plus marketing. It's doctor plus patient. We want the providers as busy as they can engaged with the patient. That's what's going to produce the services. Now, this is a hygienist. This is a PT. This is an allergy specialist, a dietitian. I don't care what it is. We want them engaged with their appointments. We want to see how many appointments can they handle in a given day, and then what percentage of that schedule are they actually engaged with a patient. So there's upstream metrics to each one of these that we're going to talk about in a second, but the KPI of that scheduling is the number of appointments, and then of course the slightly upstream one from that is the percentage of their schedule that's full. The next one then is the total adjusted production, or total sales, or total production, depending on how you're measuring this for your company. But this is now how much you're producing, because remember, you can't collect what you don't produce. So this is services or products that you're exchanging with now your clientele, customers, or patients. We go into billing and collections. Now this is the total amount, and we look at that ratio. How much are we collecting compared to how much we're producing? Now, depending if you're a cash-based place, if you're a healthcare and billing insurance, these ratios are going to change. It's really hard, even from state to state. It's hard because I get a lot of our clients asking us, what is the best ratio? Well, if you're cash-based, 100%. If you're not, if you're billing insurance, oh my gosh, it can be as low as 25%, 30%. It can be as high as 80%. It just really depends on what type of insurance you're billing, where you're at in the country. So the best thing to do is look at your last 6-month trend. Let's set the average of that as your benchmark, and then let's work our way from there. The last one is executive. It's your total profits. Total profits is, obviously your gross collections minus your payroll, your expenses, all of those things. And one of the things that I want to stress in here that you need to get in your vision statement is how much you want to make. Now, we don't write this in our vision statement because we're going to present our vision statement to our team, but you are going to craft this on your own and keep this to yourself. It's important that you write it down of how much you want to make. Now, I want you to establish this from the beginning, because small businesses don't do this, especially in healthcare, and it's a huge, huge mistake. So when you're thinking about your business, if you're a provider, you're still treating patients, I want you to identify how much should that person be making if it wasn't me. So if I'm a dentist and I'm doing all the dental work, if I was to go out and hire a dentist to replace me, how much would I pay them? How much would I offer? What would be competitive? If you're a chiropractor, same thing. Now, once you establish that, that should become your paycheck, and that should be included in overhead. So think about this. That's your payroll. That's part of your payroll expenses. Now, the way larger corporations, larger businesses work is that once you've paid everything, there should always be something left over at the end of the day. That's what we call your net profits. It's what you do with that money now that is actually really fun. And that's a whole nother live cast here for In the Blue. But um, but a lot of doctors that I know just take that home. They don't have any of that piece to reinvest in the money, to do charity work with, to do creative, cool things with, to reinvest in their team. This is where part of your team bonuses can come from. But what I'm telling you is establish your payroll. And then with the understanding that at the end of each month or quarter, you're going to bonus yourself, just like you're going to bonus and profit share with your team as they help you drive this. I hope that makes sense. If you've got questions, please put them in the feed, and Tosh will get those to me so that I can answer that if you're joining us live. Number 5 is then attracting the right people to help you make this vision a reality. Now, the reason why this is so important is to establish your vision is because I actually use this in the interviewing process. At the end of an interview, and as we go through this, I am really impressed with those team members or people applying for the position that have actually been to our website, they've read the material, they know the company. But at the end of the thing, I asked them, why do you want to work for this company? Now, this weeds out a lot of people because a lot of people are there for a job, a job. They're putting in their time so they can make a paycheck. But visions don't really get materialized with people that are there to exchange their time for a paycheck. We want to attract people who clearly understand their piece of your vision, understand how we're measuring that piece through the KPIs, and then go to work in creating it. So I want to hear something from them like, I believe in what you do, or I have been, I've been studying this for a long time, or I've been wanting to be in this industry, or I feel like my natural gifts contribute to your overall vision. Those are the things I want to hear. Those are the team members I want to attract. And so when we look at data and we start looking at assigning these roles to each team member. So number 6 is to help each team member understand their roles and duties. But more importantly, their roles and duties and what the effect that they have on the business, the clinic, or the practice. So if they fail in their roles, that sacrifices the business vision. If they succeed and they execute and they thrive in their position, their roles and duties, and hence their KPI, the vision begins to materialize. So the team member has to connect with that. Now, I know everybody gets very little cringe when we start seeing monitoring devices, dashboards and data, things like that, where we, start setting goals. I mean, this is where if you start setting the goals for the team member, the team member is not going to be engaged. It's not that fun for them. It's putting the team member and you together and reviewing their roles, duties, looking at the trend, and within 90 days of them being with your company or your practice, that they begin establishing their goals to contribute to the KPI. Now, we're not talking about them setting a goal for the KPI. We're talking about a specific, thing that they're responsible for. We call them metrics, a specific metric that they're responsible for that contributes to the KPI. Now, if they're a team leader, they are responsible for a KPI. And again, depending on the size of your organization. But again, this goes back to understanding the upstream metrics and the KPI and their effect on each other, and then really using the team member, or not using the team member, sorry, but engaging the team member in setting their own goals. Because now, once they're engaged, your job, right, as their boss, as the CEO, is to provide the resources that they need to go to work to create. to produce, to contribute. Now, we use data a lot because, again, that's the language of business. But what we're really about here are connections with people and hiring the right team members, connecting with them. I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many team members I've had come back to me and thank me for clearly helping them understand their piece of the vision. And when they buy into your vision and adopt it as their own, they will move heaven and earth to help you create it because they own their piece of the vision. And again, this is where you've got to begin providing the resources that they need to produce and to unlock their creative juices. Now, I want to address real quickly here that people are not processes, and processes are not people. And what I mean by that is you're going to establish certain systems in your business. Now, whether these are marketing systems, front desk systems, front office, business team systems, whatever you call them, financial team systems, because one system worked for one person that's been there for 20 years doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the new person you just hired. Systems have some flexibility. And so when we put a person in a position, we train them and we put them to work and they're not producing, they're not hitting their benchmarks or their goals. Is it a system issue or is it a person issue, a personnel issue? And that's something that you're just going to have to become great at as you experience and develop this, because if you're an older business, you may have time to develop the person. And a new business, we don't have a lot of time to develop a person. You need to hire people with the skills right up front that can catapult you into the success that you need. And that's what I mean by people are not processes and processes are not people. It's being a good enough person, a good enough boss that can connect with your team members to know why things are not being produced. Are they distracted? Do they need training? Do they need motivation? Do they need engagement? Do they need, or is it a process issue? We need to fix the system. The system, again, may have worked when we saw 30 patients a week, but that's not the same system for 400 patients a week. I mean, systems have to grow, change, and evolve. And if there's one thing consistent about growth of a business, it's change. And that comes to eliminating distractions. Because once you start seeing success with your business, you're going to have more opportunities than you know what to do with. And this is why your vision is so vital. Because you need to look at those opportunities and compare them against your vision. If they're in alignment with your vision, then go for it. But if it's not, don't get distracted by maybe some quick dollars that can be made or a quick expansion of your business that can happen because of these opportunities if they don't match your vision. This goes back to your authenticity in your marketing, in your communication with your team, and again, in communication with your patients and customers. This authentic voice comes down to what opportunities you will choose, because your potential, your baby that you're creating, which is your practice, your business, again, what would be worth sacrificing to really create what you've always dreamed of? So be committed, be disciplined, push away the distractions, get laser focused on your dream, and again, engage your teammates to help you achieve that. And that really then it comes down to enjoying the journey. And I'm going to be straight up with it and confess something about myself that, I've done a lot of hiking in my life. I've been involved in scouting and backpacking and camping, and I love the outdoors. But I learned something about myself, being out on some of these hikes, that I enjoy the hike. I mean, I do, but I actually really enjoy being at the place I'm hiking to. When the hike's over and I'm on top of the mountain and I'm looking over the valley or the scenery or the sunset, that's what makes my heart just vibrate. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the work to get there, but what really is the payoff for me is being there. Now, Other people are different. And you've got to ask yourself, do I actually enjoy the journey more than the destination? People who enjoy the journey find themselves creating a lot of businesses. People who enjoy the destination, man, they find out that creation is a lot of work. And it's being there that is, it's fun to be in that part of your business for those type of individuals where they're now looking at what's established and what's created. And so learn to know who you are, which one of those that you are, because those individuals that create something and it's great, all of a sudden aren't fulfilled. They need to be in the journey. And if that's you, that's not a problem. So this all goes back down to now using a measurement tool, and this is what BlueIQ is all about. And I'm going to show you just real quickly how our software is able to engage. Oh, sorry, I stopped sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. I'll bring this back up. But it's how we actually analyze data, but then also are able to use a system that benchmarks things. So, for example, let's go into a marketing dashboard in BlueIQ. You can see there's several cards, and this is what I mean by here's a KPI. Now there's no data in here, so that's why it says no data found. But here's our KPI for a dental or a chiropractic or a healthcare facility. It's new patients, schedule new patients. But we have all these upstream metrics, and we've created a really easy, simple code that when we go into a metric, you can actually set these. So you can set your benchmark here underneath goals. You can put in what that is, and then you can look at these colors. Now, red, this is an employee or a team member that needs training. They don't need more motivation. They don't need you yelling in their ear, motivating them and cheering them on. They need skills. They need development. Versus in the yellow here is somebody that's losing momentum. This is probably somebody who's more distracted. They're not hitting their benchmarks. They're close. So it's probably not a training issue. It's probably a motivation issue, and sitting down, having a review with them, asking them, hey, what are the distractions in your day? What's keeping you from really focusing on your metric or your KPI? Green means they're hitting the target range. And we even allow you to customize these so that you can give them a little leeway just depending on the culture of your business. But that's our target. That's where we want to be. And then, of course, in the blue, that's why we're called in the blue live or Facebook Live. And then, of course, in the blue with BlueIQ. So BlueIQ is crushing it. They're actually exceeding your expectations. Now, this is good and bad, right? Because we can handle a spike in this, but if we try to sustain this can be kind of scary. You need to develop better systems to handle the load. You may need to expand your team members in order to handle the load, but this is a great indicator of when to hire, when to expand, when it's safe, because you now have sustainable growth rather than just periodic growth. Now, if you notice here, you can click on members, and this is where we're able to invite team members, our team, into the dashboard, and we can give them different permission settings so they can see the different data. They don't get to see all the data. But whether they're a team lead or whether they're on a team, we can invite them into the platform. And then we can actually come in and give them different permission levels based upon can they view a metric, can they set a goal, can they manage goals. And the system is designed that they actually get their initial right on the card. So for instance, if I had a team member really driving traffic to my website, I can come to members, and right next to their name, after it brings them up there's a star. And if I click that star, you'll notice now, after we reset this, as I close that team member's initials show up on the card. That now means that they're responsible for that metric. They're the ones that drive it. This is their piece of the company's vision that they've adopted into, and that they're the driving force behind. So just real quick about this, and with our dashboards, again, depending what industry you're in, this is the same concept, but we can come into team members here and they can see their production rhythm. We want to see consistent red blue, I mean, not red, sorry, green and blue. We don't want to see yellow or red repeating. And our system is intuitive enough that it will pick that up and notify you if there is consecutive red or yellow weeks. You can totally customize all those things, but we can begin looking at trends and all the kind of stuff that needs to happen as you begin analyzing business data, the language of your business. So in closing, let me just share with you this, that BlueIQ is all about helping you achieve your dreams. And that's the vision that you've created. You've put a lot in. You've become an entrepreneur. You've become a business owner. And it's your blood, sweat, and tears that are on the line. And so getting your vision written down on a document in the creation, this is something that you're going to share with your team. So again, you're not writing here what you want to have materially. It's not about how much you want to make. It's not that. This is really designed for you to be able to design or craft who you're becoming. You're establishing the experience that you want your customers, clients, or patients to have. And it's so detailed that when your team members read it, that they feel moved, that they feel engaged, they're called to become part of that. When you find team members that, again, adopt your vision as their own, and they own their piece of it, and they go to work to create it, again, they will move heaven and earth to achieve it. And when you've built a team like that and you've got the tools in place to monitor that and have the right discussions with the right team members, your vision will literally become unstoppable. Thank you for joining me today within the Blue. Appreciate you guys taking the time to be with us. We're doing this weekly. We've got some phenomenal people joining our live events in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned. Check out our page often. Please share this. If this resonates with you and you know other entrepreneurs, doctors, clinic owners, dentists, please share this with them, because I want to see more and more of our fellow colleagues achieving their dreams and their visions. And these, we're pretty excited about the tools that we're creating to help them do that. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me.